What is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop of sun any chance I get. And welcome back to another episode of my brand new review series. A few weeks ago, I did my own video where I talked about the new releases for the first half of June. You can check that out right now. The video should be linked in the corner. And now we are going to be going over the second half of the month. I hope you guys are really excited because we are going to be backflipping with joy in this edition. And as always, we're going to be talking about the newest singles, aka my Florida Blast, and a new artist that I think deserves some highlighting. I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. I know my first half for June has almost 100 views on YouTube. I mean, 8 billion views would also be nice, but I can deal with nearly 100. You know, we're almost in the triple digits, so that's good. So I hope you guys are able to relax for today because this is going to be another fun-filled episode. Grab yourself a good dish of ice cream because the sun is up for the sum up. The second half of the month has seen a lot of buzz around Benson Boone's sophomore album, American Hearts. It seems this past year has seen Benson launch himself into superstardom. The Washington native first had a taste of fame when he auditioned for American Idol and made it to the Hollywood round, although he quickly dropped out soon after that. From there, he saw a tiny bit of Hot 100 success, but his career totally changed once he released Beautiful Things. This monster of a hit went 5 times platinum, reached number 2 on the Hot 100, and he would even perform the song at the Grammys. This would be featured on his 2024 debut album, Fireworks and Rollerblades, which would become a global smash. Personally, I prefer his follow-up hit Slow It Down, which I discussed in my Best of 2024 list on the BRC channel. You can check that out for yourself. It appears that Benson has more tight suits, falsettos, and backflips to offer, because the second LP has been out for over a week now. I'm here to take a look at this record and see just how strongly it beats. We'll be returning to Benson Boone in just a moment, but for now I want to talk about my Florida Blast. These are new singles that have been released within the past 2 weeks, and I think could do a lot to shake up the charts. Considering that the summer season is just getting kicked off, I think these would be perfect for people to listen to on the radio. So without further ado, let's discuss the songs that I think are creating a real sizzle. The first song we'll be discussing is Outside by Cardi B. We're about to see the return of a queen. Cardi B is starting to build up hype for her September release, Am I the Drama? And she wants to remind people just how much fire she can spit. Outside is Cardi proclaiming that she needs a fine man to spend time with, and this is all to spite Offset. She's calling herself an outside bitch, letting guys know what kind of women they'll be hooking up with. This is all laid over a taunting beat composed of a marimba-like sound. The song contains enough ferocity to remind people on Cardi's persona. While her newest album has taken a long while to arrive, Outside does make me intrigued to hear the official record. The next song in my Florida Blast is Kesha's The One. Speaking of queens, it's time to focus on the party animal herself. Kesha has dropped her own single in anticipation for a new release, and it oozes with self-love. The One evokes sounds emulating the production of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis with its marching band drums and trumpets. The bridge also proves she still knows how to use autotune. This all fits in a song where she sings about spending her life searching for someone she needs, but discovers that it's always been herself. The One also feels like a victory song, highlighting the journey Kesha has taken her career in and reaching a moment where she feels pleased with her own persona. The next song in the lineup is Lewis Capaldi's Survive. It's always a pleasure to see this Scottish performer show up on the charts. His newest song, Survive, sees him struggling to go through life while keeping himself hopeful. Lewis belts to the heavens that nothing can shake him, for he will keep persisting, showing all that he is worth. This may sound too by the numbers for some listeners, but it really helps to know this defiant piano ballad is coming from an artist who's been openly dealing with some legitimate hurdles over the last few years, especially when it comes to mental health. It hurts to hear this tune come from a guy as funny as Lewis, but Survive shows that even the silliest of clowns can shed tears, but they're still strong enough to reach out and thrive. The final song in my Florida Blast is 6 Months Later by Moroney. Lately, country music has been in desperate need of female singers who can maintain longevity. It seems that Moroney can help resolve this issue. Her latest single, 6 Months Later, depicts her getting dumped by a man, but then fast forwards to half a year, and she is doing fine. The ex then calls, saying he messed up and asks to revive the romance, but she makes it clear that he blew his chance. Sung over a moderate tempo and upbeat composition, Meg uses her own humor to tell this guy off, saying she feels much hotter, and insisting the guy has the wrong number. Tennessee Orange had an interesting premise, but as someone who doesn't follow college football that closely, I can't connect with it that much. However, I'm starting to get on board with Moroney now that I've heard 6 months later. I hope that everyone has enjoyed my Florida Blast for this half of June, and I urge you all to give those singles a listen. And with all that said, we are now back to discussing Benson Boone and his latest record, American Heart. It's apparent that tons of people have been turning Benson Boone's music into a joke. At best, he's being dubbed as nothing more than a talent show act, mocking him for his cheesiness and predictably his falsetto. At worst, he's being alleged as a secret conservative since he's an ex-Mormon. I personally find this theory quite silly since he hasn't even shared any messed up views. Outside of that video of him complimenting Mark Zuckerberg. That was a little cringe. I see plenty of talent in Benson. I want to give him a fair shake, even with his second album. Having said that, I can't exactly call American Heart the most stellar album of the year. Benson has always shown a ton of ambition, toying with various tricks in his sound, whether that be tempo changes, playing with vocal register, or escalating his tune to climactic finales. But sometimes these risks can undercut the music, like obnoxious violins on an otherwise sweet tribute to his mother. I also have a personal gripe with how Benson intensifies the production on Take Me Home, which could have remained a simple piano ballad. The content itself can also be silly, like when he sings in a shaky voice how his girlfriend took away his manliness, or how he's committed to winning over a girl who's clearly not interested in him. Now, I will say the album does have its positive factors. Benson is still a force of personality, and he's become more comfortable with his synth rock aesthetic. He knows how to rely on his clean drums, funky bass lines, and shredding guitars. One question that tickles my mind, though, is why the LP is titled American Heart? Well, perhaps Benson Boone is subtly reflecting on the current political climate and is vowing to embrace every moment he spends in his youth. While the future is uncertain, he wants to cherish all the time he spends with his loved ones, which is a decent sentiment. This album clearly won't be for everybody, especially not critics who seek out more sophisticated works. But this album can be a fun time if you prefer some cheese with your Moonbeam ice cream. I'm sure people will have fun with Benson Boone's music for the next month or so, and hopefully it'll spark some interesting singles. But now, like I did with the last video, I want to end this episode by giving a shout out to the artist on the rise, someone who I think could do a lot to shake up the music scene. So without further ado, my artist on the rise is Breakfast Road. This week's shout out is going to the trio hailing from Western Sydney, that being Breakfast Road. These guys perform as a boy band and have been releasing music since 2019. Their tunes have a chill tone to them, allowing you to relax while bopping your head to smooth pop production reminiscent of the early 2000s. One single to give a shot is Name, which feels like a cruise down the highway late at night. Breakfast Road could bring some relaxed music to the mainstream, which I'm sure listeners are starving for. Like I said, if you have the time, be sure to give Name a stream, okay? But with all that said, thank you guys so much for joining me on another episode of The Sum Up. I still am getting used to recording this series, but these have been a blast so far. Very easy, not too drastic, and hopefully you guys are having fun with them. I'll be back in the middle of July to give you another one of these, and I'm guessing we will have some fun tunes to discuss then. In the meantime, if you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Blue Sky, my Twitch, and my TikTok. Links will be in the description, and that's where we're going to wrap up. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you were able to soak up those drops. Take care.